Welcome to your Barbados Today Evening News Update for Monday, October 7th. Thanks for joining us. I'm Frenella Wedderburn. One of Barbados's top judges is issuing a stern warning that the country should not expect any first world justice with the kind of penny pinching taking place when it comes to judicial and legal training. This caution came on Monday from Madam Justice Jacqueline Cornelius as she called for proper institutional support for judges and more education on the intended purpose of the Bankruptcy and Insolvency Act. She was speaking on the issue of bankruptcy and insolvency legislation in the Caribbean at the Impact Justice meeting at the Accra Beach Hotel.
We need not only judicial officers specializing in insolvency and commercial matters, but also specializing in other areas so that those commercial judges will be free to act quickly and competently and also undergo continuous training. Minister, you cannot get first world justice if you act with third world parsimony in the area of judicial and legal training. This goes for all areas that requires specialist courts, from the family court to the sexual offenses court to the commercial division. I'm a firm advocate of specialist courts and training, and I'm committed to bringing them into existence in this judiciary. Thankfully, we now have the creation of a commercial division in which I'll be the senior judge, and I will sit together with my fellow judges here, Justices McCarthy and Carrington.
Classes resumed today at Sharon Primary, but parents are still seeking answers from the Ministry of Health about the environmental problems which forced the closure of the St. Thomas School. Concerned parent Felicia Cox told reporters they are still in the dark about air quality tests that have been conducted.
We're satisfied that improvements have been made, but we can't yet be satisfied that there will be no recurrence because we haven't seen the evidence, basically. And I think that just boldly speaks to the facts of the situation, that it's very difficult to have an air quality test on the compound that would make us feel 100% comfortable. What we had asked for at the meeting was air quality tests at the businesses that had been identified as potential sources, and specifically to test the mitigation measures that had been put in place according to the Ministry of Health. I can say we're a bit disappointed right now because the Ministry of Health has not contacted us. They did take contact information for at least two of the parents, myself being one, and up to this time we have not heard anything from them, and we really would appreciate their getting in contact and helping us to get to a point where we can say, yes, we're perfectly happy with our children being here.
Meanwhile, Principal Pamela Small-Williams says the tests were done and investigations and maintenance would have to continue. She, however, said that a number of problems have been rectified and staff and children are happy to be back at school.
There's no place like home. And this morning, I received lots of hugs from children who said, "Ma'am, I am so happy to be at school." I read some of the messages from parents, and as I have said before, parents are also extremely happy, not only to return to Sharon, but to return to a refurbished premises. So many things have been done, and that is why this morning we are actually continuing our thankful spirit, and as I have told someone, we are counting our blessings. We are not saying that things cannot happen, but we are saying that with the cooperation of parents and especially those parents who are knowledgeable in aspects of environmental health and also engineering, parents who know about paints and air filtrations and systems, all of those things. We are blessed to have those kinds of parents at Sharon, and those are ones who, some of them are here today, that they are able to testify of the improvements we have here at Sharon.
The Barbados Workers Union and the Barbados Light and Power Company held closed-door talks today after workers staged a work stoppage this morning. From as early as 7:30 a.m., scores of linesmen abandoned their posts at the Garrison Hill St. Michael headquarters. The workers later met with the Barbados Workers Union Deputy Director of Industrial Relations, Dion Howard, who told reporters that workers agreed to return to their duties while management and the union agreed to hold talks. In a statement, Barbados Light and Power Communications Coordinator Jennifer Blackman said discussions will continue this week and normal operations will continue.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Craft Center. Kick off the weekend this Friday from 4 p.m. to midnight with loads of food, drinks, and entertainment. Get ready for Crop Over with the Rhythm Roots Street Parade. Party like it's Kadooman Day on the street around Pelican Village with costume reveler, music, and more. It's Festive Friday. It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Village Center from 4 p.m. to midnight. Admission free.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
On the regional scene, the Commonwealth Secretary General is on the ground in Grand Bahama and Abaco to get a first-hand look at the impact of Hurricane Dorian. Patricia Scotland says the devastation speaks to a clear need for an urgent solution to climate change.
And back in 1989, that's 30 years ago, we as a Commonwealth family said if there is any delay, the consequences to our nations, particularly our small, vulnerable island nations, would be totally devastating. And what has happened here in Abaco and Grand Bahama is going to happen again. And it's not a case of if anymore, it's when and to whom.
On the international front, President Donald Trump has threatened to destroy Turkey's economy if Turkey goes off limits after his decision to pull U.S. forces out of northeastern Syria. In a series of tweets, Trump defended his move that could open the way for Turkey to launch an attack on Kurdish fighters across the border. Kurdish forces were key U.S. allies in defeating the Islamic State in Syria. We get more in this report from Al Jazeera.
We have the Syrian Democratic Forces, SDF, in Syria. The U.S. claims that it's mostly Arab-dominated, but Turkey says it's mostly Kurdish-dominated because the driving force, the military forces, are the Syrian Kurdish fighter group, the YPG. And Turkey believes the YPG is an offshoot of the outlawed Kurdistan Workers' Party, PKK. Turkey has been fighting for 40 years and for 30 years, and at least 40,000 people lost their lives during this fight. And Turkey claims that the command-level membership of the Syrian Democratic Forces are the PKK commanders. And their aim is to build a big Kurdistan, which can divide Iraq, Iran, and Turkey, along with an autonomous region on the eastern side of the Euphrates River. So Turkey says we should protect the territorial integrity of Syria, which is also equal to Turkey's territorial integrity.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit us at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good evening.